I'm going to jam through a couple things here, and you can look at the PowerPoint later. Learning objectives, we could skip that. Introduction though, today's police and police agencies face unprecedented challenges. This was written, you see the date down at the bottom, 2018. Obviously, even more so 2 years later, the challenges we're currently facing, right? Citizens and politicians are clamoring for a re-examination of the police role in our society. I'm sure many of you have heard, or I'm sure all of you have heard, or should have heard about different calls to defund the police or abolish the police or get rid of police altogether. There is an overwhelming re-examination now of, wait, what do police do? Why do we have police? Do we even need police? Okay, and those are really important questions, because maybe the answer is, hey, police are doing too much, or maybe police are not doing enough. And people are going to have different opinions on that. And that's a fascinating question to look at. So we are going to look at that of, okay, what do police do? Why do they do that? Could somebody else do that? Right? Those are some of the questions that the defund the police movement are asking. And some of the abolish police are saying like, hey, we don't need police. We can get other people to do some of the stuff that police is doing. And honestly, as a police officer, I'm actually okay with those discussions. And I potentially, I'm going to qualify this a little bit, but I potentially even agree with some of those points, because there are things that police officers are called to do and asked to do that we probably shouldn't do. We haven't been trained to do, and it shouldn't be our responsibility to do. So maybe those are some really good conversations to have, because there are certain things that police are dealing with that they shouldn't have to deal with. So those are good things to look at, right? And it's obviously important, and this cannot be said enough, it's important that the police and the people they protect and serve agree on what should be the nature of the police's role. It's absolutely true. The police are called to serve the public and to serve the community. We're not above the community, we are a part of the community. So if police officers are responsible to the community, then they need to answer to the community and be responsible to the community, and the community needs to decide what the police's role should be. And if the police is doing a role that they shouldn't be doing, or if the public does not support the police, then at that point, the power and authority of the police is going to fall apart, because you absolutely have to have the public and the community supporting the police. Otherwise, the police, it's not going to work. It's not going to be effective. Okay. So it's extremely important that the police and the people they protect and serve agree on what the police's role is. Okay. Policing and the people, police authority. Here's the gist of it, right? Police have the right to direct and command. Okay. We have authority as police officers to stop people, to talk to people. And of course, people have rights, and we're going to talk about this in constitutional law. You have freedom, right? And so there is this balance of power. And I see your comment there. It's absolutely, some police abuse their power. That's absolutely true. And that's where the fine line is of police have power and police have authority, but that comes from the community, and it can't be abused, right? And that's the whole thing in question, is have they abused their power? Have they used their power too much? And so those are kind of the things we'll look at, that balance of, okay, what is an individual's constitutional right? You as an individual in your house, if a cop comes to your door and says, hey, let me in, I want to come inside, guess what? You have the constitutional liberty and freedom to say, no, sorry, you can't come inside. This is my house. Without a warrant, you can't come in my house. And the police can't just barge in and be like, well, I'm going to do whatever I want to do because I'm a cop. It doesn't work that way, right? That's that. And if a cop stops you on the street, you do not have to stop and talk to the police officer, right? If he's just like, hey, can I talk to you real quick? And you say, no, sorry, I don't want to talk right now. He can't force you to talk to him. However, there's qualifications of that, because if the officer is investigating a crime or suspects that you were involved in a crime, then he has the right and the authority to detain you and to stop you while he completes his investigation. So there's a balance of that. Whether you're like, I didn't do anything wrong. But if he has suspicion, reasonable suspicion that you maybe committed a crime or were involved in a crime, he has the opportunity, or he has the authority and right to stop you. And that right comes from the people, and it comes through our laws and our institutions, right? And so, but that's, again, stuff that we're going to have to work through. those are things that we're going to have to look at. And those are things that are obviously being called into question right now, is how much power and authority do the police have? And do they have too much? Do they not have enough? You know, and so anyway, really good questions and really good points. So we're going to have to look at all of those things. Okay. And then of course, the traditional functions of policing, which I already talked about, and you're going to read about those. I will email you the PDF of parts of chapter 4, so you can do that. And then contemporary goal. So kind of the new goal of policing, and we'll see more in the history of policing. Policing used to be a lot more authoritative. Now we really are. The goal of modern police is really to form proactive problem-solving partnerships with the citizens they serve to create a healthy, crime-free environment. And that sounds really good, but it's easier said than done, right? Because right now we have an issue within our community of the police image is not good. There's a lot of people that don't trust the police. There's a lot of people that don't like the police. LeBron James, obviously you guys know who LeBron James is, but he just, there's an article that, he was speaking after the Lakers win last night. And he was speaking about the shooting that just happened in Wisconsin. And he said, he was speaking as a black man, he was speaking for black men. He was saying, black people are terrified right now in our country of the police. That's horrible. That is a horrible, horrible problem that the police have. And that's not okay. No one should be afraid of the police, right? The police, their whole role, their whole responsibility is to serve the community, to protect the community, to help people. And if people are afraid of them, like honest, I mean, obviously we want criminals to be afraid of police, right? If you're a criminal and you're going to break the law, yeah, we want you to fear the police. But obviously good law-abiding citizens, people that love law and order, that are respectful and honest and good people, that's horrible that anyone would fear the police unnecessarily. And so the police across the country, there have been, like I said in the beginning, there have been some bad apples that have made some bad decisions, and that's a problem. So there's a lot of work needs to be done to repair the police image or change the police image, however you want to say it. So let's see. Yeah, I'm going to scroll down kind of the end. So you have the police image. So here's some stereotypes of police, right? And those are not good. Suspicious, cynical, indifferent, authoritarian. Those are horrible stereotypes, right? And if that's true of police, then we have a major problem within criminal justice that needs to be changed, because that should not be the image of a police officer. Police officer should be helpful, respectful, sacrificial, right? Willing to lay their lives on the line in order to protect the innocent and to help the needy, right? So that should be the image of the police, but the police are lacking in some of those areas, obviously. And again, like I said in the beginning, I think most cops are good, but there are some bad apples and there are some bad cops. And so we gotta work through that as well.